Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer, and today I have this crazy story of how me and this neighbor in my neighborhood saved this cat's life, the cat right here. Basically, this cat is a feral. He has no home. He's on the streets all the time, but I knew him because he used to be friends with my late cat Jack. But about 4 months ago, I saw him one morning with this huge gash, like right here, giant gash. Like it looked like he had been bitten, probably by getting into a fight with another cat. And this looked like the type of wound that is not gonna heal on its own, like it needs medical attention. And my first instinct was like, I'm gonna try to trap him and take him. And I actually did. Like he's not the type of cat that likes to be petted, but he'll tolerate you getting close enough to him and like lightly touching him. If you start petting him too much, he'll like walk away. I wasn't planning on taking him to the vet at that time. What I was planning on doing was I just wanted to clean his wound because I wanted to see how bad it was and if it needed medical attention. So I take him to the front of my house. I open the carrier and I have this like piece of cotton and he just jumped out. Like I had I couldn't even attempt to clean him because he just escaped. And then after that, I kind of like lost confidence that I was gonna be able to catch him again. And I was just kind of hoping that, I was like, well, let's wait and see. Let's see if this gets better. Maybe he'll heal. But no, the more time went on, the worse it got. And then a whole month had gone by, and the next time I saw him, he had this like huge like pus bubble, and it just had infected so much that it had gotten bigger. And I don't know what was under it at that time. It just looked like this huge bubble of like disease and whatnot. And one time I did get close to him by giving him food, and he smelled like death. And I knew like this cat cannot stay like this any longer or much longer, because if he does, he's probably gonna like get a full body infection and die. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna pay for his veterinarian expenses and then just do that. But he's a feral, you have to catch him. So I ended up contacting the San Antonio Cat Coalition, and they let me borrow a cat trap, a humane cat trap. And so now I just had to like find a good spot where to put it. And so I knew that he used to hang out a lot in front of this other house that was like a block away from my house. I think the people there used to give him food. So one day I saw that lady come out, and I was like, oh, hey, do you know that cat that comes here that you give him food? And she's like, yeah, I know him. I was like, oh, wait, well, I'm actually trying to trap him to, get medical attention for his injury. I don't know if you have noticed that he has an injury. And she's like, oh my God, yes. She's like, this is such a crazy coincidence because I'm about to go pick up a cat trap to trap him. So basically we were both trying to trap him. So we decided to coordinate and try to trap him, and we're gonna split the cost. And it took us like 4 days of setting up the trap and waiting and trying, and he would get close, he wouldn't go in, but eventually he did go in and we trapped him. So I took over from there. I took him to the vet. The Cat Coalition had given us a vet recommendation that was going to give us a small discount, and they basically weren't able to do much in terms of like closing the wound, but they were able to clean it. They were able to give him antibiotics, and like they gave me a cleaning solution saying like you should clean his wound like 2 to 3 times a day every day for like the next month, and don't let him outside. And that was like, all in all, the final cost was $500. So my neighbor and I just ended up paying like $250 each. It wasn't too bad, and it probably would have been so much cheaper if I had just taken him to the vet when he first had the wound. This was the size, it was like the size of the wound was like the size of a quarter, but deep. After a month, after it got super infected, it was like somebody took a chunk out of his face, like a huge chunk. So if you see the pictures right here, like he looked awful, and I was just like, how is that like gonna heal? Like I wasn't sure if it was gonna really happen in 1 month. So basically, after I pick him up from the vet, I turn it over to my neighbor. She washed him for the first week. She cleaned his wound. I think it was like the first 2 weeks she cleaned his wound, and after 2 weeks I took him and I took over, brought him to my house, set him up in my office, and I took over. And surprisingly, for the first 2 weeks that she was taking care of him, he had huge progress. The wound shrunk a lot, and then I took over. After like 2 more weeks, it shrunk even more, but it wasn't fully closed. And taking care of him was like very easy. He knew how to use a litter box almost right away, and he was just happy to have food regularly. Like I would feed him 3 times a day because he had lost a lot of weight while he was sick, because he had always been this like really back fatty tomcat, but when he was sick he had gotten very skinny. So basically we were feeding him a lot to help him get his weight back. After those extra weeks of me taking care of him, I ended up turning him over again to my neighbor because he still needed more care. So she took him over for like almost another 3 weeks of just cleaning, because his wound was like already like almost closed, except he still had a scab. But yeah, after 3 weeks we were like, I went to take a look and I told her, hey, he looks great now, we can release him. Oh, we also got him fixed when I took him to the vet. So now that he's fixed, he's not gonna start getting into fights with other cats. That's why it's super important to get your cats fixed. So yeah, we finally released him.
It's okay. You look so much better.
You ready? Officer Garfield, ready? You're gonna go free. Yes, you are.
Hey, Frank.
You wanna go free?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. My bad. Come here, baby. Oh, freedom. Oh, wow.
And I'm happy to report that he's back out there, just enjoying his life, walking around the street, just being lazy, getting fed regularly by my neighbor. And whenever I see him, I try to pet him. Most of the times I don't succeed, but I have. And if I have treats, then I can bribe him in. But yeah, that's the story of Jack's friend, how we saved him and how it was totally worth it, because he was really important. He's really important to me because he was a friend of my cat, and I'm just happy we were able to help him. So if you ever see a cat in need that you can help sooner rather than later, I would encourage you to do it, because the longer you wait, the more expensive it gets.